There I am. Hi. Happy Wednesday. Come join me. I'm late. It's almost 8:30 and I'm supposed to start at 8. So I'm late. I'm late for a very important date. Come join me. Come ask me questions. Excuse me. I need to get a cough button. So I'm not going to be on for more than 30 minutes today, and I'm hoping that I get some folks on impromptu joining this morning to come and ask me some questions or even just come discuss stuff with me. I could really use the human connection this morning, if you will. So please jump on in and let me get into the comments here and see if we get any questions. Also, when you join, please say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're joining from. If you don't leave a, hey, Reggie. If you don't leave a comment, I don't even know you're here. It's the strangest thing. But yeah, so come on in, ask me literally anything about anything hiring related, recruiting related, interview related, resume related. I am here giving my time just to clarify things for people. I also am really good at sharing transparently multiple different perspectives, right? So if you ask me about interviewing or resumes or formats or ATSs or anything like that, I'm going to give you multiple perspectives to consider, because the truth that the gurus don't like to say, the experts, coaches, and gurus, the truth is that there is no particular single way, right way of doing anything when it comes to hiring. There are millions of companies, and all these millions of companies get to hire differently within the law, and they do. So it's pretty important to understand that there is no, if some guru on LinkedIn is saying this is the way it is 100% of the time and nothing else, and this is the way it is, they're probably lying. Because the truth is there are many different perspectives, and there's a lot of nuance when it comes to hiring. So when you ask me any question, my perspective mostly comes from the tech startup world, very fast-paced, fast growth environments, where things are a little different than when you're recruiting and hiring in a very large, bureaucratic, corporate, multi-layered, heavy structured environment. Very different things, right? The people you hire in early stage companies are the builders, the scrappy people, the people who don't need a lot of clarity. They can operate in ambiguity and make the clarity from there. And then in the bigger companies, they really want people who aren't going to say, hey, why do we do this? That doesn't make sense. Isn't there a better way? They want people who are just kind of like compliant and do whatever needs to be done. That's why these big companies build these big machines with easily replaceable cogs, as opposed to earlier stage where they need people who are problem solvers, thinkers, people who can create without a playbook. That's a very different skill set. So, but again, my experience is more over here from startups, but I can speak to anything relating to hiring in any different environment. Okay, so Reggie's asking, what trends are you seeing regarding the hiring process from the business side versus the prospective candidate side? Well, actually, a lot of the trends are very similar on both sides. In fact, a lot of the issues that we're seeing in hiring are micro issues of a macro scenario, right? So like we are definitely globally in a paradigm shift with AI coming, with we're shifting towards a much more transactional short game mindset. And I'm seeing that on both company side and individuals and job seekers. So companies, seem to be hiring for immediate needs, not long game, long road kind of growth scenarios, if you will. I think because everyone is being called to reinvent themselves right now, including companies, right? So it's not just us individuals feeling this strange external pressure to like reinvent ourselves, shape shift into kind of a new version of ourselves to work with AI and do all these different things and have a different perspective about what work looks like. And I believe companies are in the same shift, right? Also, companies are having to do more with less. Their margins are collapsing a bit due to cost of goods and services and things like that. So there's a lot of different things and moving parts happening at once, and I think that's causing a lot of the angst on both sides. So I don't think the pressure is unique to one side or the other. I think companies, businesses, employers are under a lot of pressure to shift, also under a lot of pressure to how do we get Gen Z to adapt and adopt kind of work, and also our products, our technology, or whatever. Gen Z is driven a little differently, so it's harder to get them to adapt and adopt things without putting like some kind of addictive element in it, which is really unfortunate. But Stapewell says, I am actively applying for jobs in Europe. I did specialized in safety, risk, and compliance with 8 years experience in logistics, credit, finance, and safety. I'm facing denies. So one of the things that's shifted is supply and demand across the board, especially in like where you are, where I am, where most of us on LinkedIn are, which is that white collar laptop class of jobs. Okay. It's where AI has impacted a lot too. It's also become a more globalized, which could be a very good thing for some people. It's actually negatively impacting high cost markets in the US and benefiting lower cost markets globally. But the reason why, and let me give you a little bit of math context around talent funnels. Okay. So I've got like 14 different almost director level jobs I'm working on, and all of them have anywhere between 700 and over 2,000 applicants in them. Okay. So Staple, what you're probably experiencing, it's not that there's necessarily anything wrong with your background or misaligned. It's just that you're competing against so many more applicants than you would normally be in a prior market, right? A prior job market. Prior to 2022, 2023, we were actually in the inverse. We were in a candidate market, a talent market, where we had the leverage because talent was scarce in this white collar laptop class world, right? We went through, for the last 2 decades, a digital transformation across all industries. COVID came and was like the pressure test. How have we done? What still hasn't been digitally transformed? Oh, okay, lending and mortgage and da 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 da. And so we tightened that up. That's why you saw a hiring increase 2021 going into 2022, and then like everything came to a screeching halt in 2023. And all of a sudden, all these tech companies, which basically every company at this stage is a tech company, right? In a digitally transformed world, no matter what product or service you have, there's an element of your existence that is a tech company. And so, now all of a sudden, for 20 years, it was don't worry about profit, don't worry about efficiency, just get it adopted, get it adopted, get it adopted, get it adopted at scale. And then we'll worry about profitability and efficiency later. Well, guess where we're at today and post-COVID? All of a sudden, profit and efficiency matters. So now all of us, and of course, we also spent the last 20 years building no code, low code technology. So like over the last 20 years and all the conversations about the future of work was really just us planning our own obsolescence unwittingly. That's what basically kind of happened. Now, obviously, we're all not obsolete. There's going to be a period longer of transition, and AI isn't going to take all jobs away. It's just going to change them, all of them. So hear that, okay? And so, yeah, I think Staple, the issue is just it's more competitive. The biggest challenge, I'll give you the math that I was going to give you. So like I have a pipeline of 1,000 applicants, okay? And of that 1,000 applicants, maybe 200 are actually qualified. So Staple, now I have to decide of the 200 actually qualified applicants, which 20 or 30 am I going to talk to? How do I shortlist that, right? So it becomes tough. There's a good chance, Staple, you've been actually rejected from roles and gotten denials when your resume was not even looked at. Okay? It's possible. It's possible. I can tell you that I'm doing everything in my power to try and look at every single applicant, but I'm not seeing every single applicant when I have 14 jobs with thousands of applicants each, right? So Reggie said, I'm seeing a lot of jobs asking for entry level, but wanting years of experience with education on top, but low pay. How does that all work when most of what they are asking for would be hard to find, especially when the experienced person is also overqualified, or they don't want to hire that type of person because they may leave? Sometimes entry level, you see entry level because it's the classification of like LinkedIn's or like a job board. So like if I post a job and I say 1 to 3 years of experience or 3 to 5 years of experience, and I post that job in my Lever ATS, say, and then LinkedIn scrapes and picks it up, or it automatically is included in a job wrapping package where LinkedIn picks it up, or another job board, Indeed, picks it up. They map some of those things into their own classification. So it's not, Reggie, us always saying 3 to 5 years and then us selecting entry level. That's not always the case, although it may be sometimes the case where you have a more junior recruiter who doesn't know any different or better and still sees 3 years as pretty entry level. Also, entry level isn't necessarily, so like there's this perception that entry level means 0 years of experience. Entry level always means no experience. That's not true. Entry level is defined as the entry point in that company. So an entry level role in a company where all the roles are pretty high level and high impact, that entry level role, that coordinator level, the marketing coordinator or the ops coordinator or and that's what's their entry level role, still may require 1 to 3 years of experience, but it's still entry into that company. So we think entry level is like some single standard leveling that applies to all millions of companies, and that's just not true. In some companies, entry level is 0 experience right out of college or into an internship program. And it's just different across the board. That's the bottom line, Reggie, is that it's different depending on the company. That's what I want people to understand. You know, it would be a lot easier to navigate this world if we got that. It just depends, right? It depends on the scenario. So, Reggie, I am hiring. I'm just only hiring for a couple different companies, really one right now because they have 14 roles and they're taking up a lot of my time. But I am hiring and I am out here and I am trying to help recruiters also hire in this strange market. I will say this, there's been a lot of complaints from recruiters around fake candidates and like people not showing up. I don't experience that at all. I haven't experienced any of that at all. I also have very human conversations with real human beings who are applying for jobs. And I'm very transparent. Just like I'm transparent in this format, I'm very transparent in recruiter interview calls because like every good people can handle pretty much anything if they know what they're walking into. What they don't like is being sold a bill of goods and then walking into chaos and nobody said, hey, there's a little bit of chaos to wade through and navigate. So, you know, I actually love companies where there's some chaos because it means there's lots of interesting problems to solve. What's not fun is going into a company with chaos where they say they want to solve those problems, but they actually don't. And they actually are the problem. So, yeah. Oh, Reggie, listen, where are you based? You said you're in Florida, I think you said. Yeah. So you're in Jacksonville, Florida. I actually what kind of work are you looking for, Reggie? I'll look at you after. I'll look at your background after, but I'm always looking out for people out here. Like that's why I'm here. I definitely don't show up on these weekly live calls to like just sit and watch and hear myself talk by any means. I'm genuinely here because I want to help people because I know that we've changed the rules of the game and we haven't actually like let anyone know what the new rules are. In fact, I think most recruiters are also trying to figure out what's going on. So that's why I'm here. I feel like people who are natural adapters, which I think I kind of am a natural adapter, I think we need to, for every natural adapter, you need to reach back and grab three who aren't, because most aren't. You know, adapting and change is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. So I think we need to all have grace, whether it's job seekers talking to recruiters, recruiters talking to job seekers. I just think we all need to have grace because, again, we are all feet to the fire being held to reinvent ourselves right now. This paradigm shift is not gonna no one's getting to the next chapter without some bit of adapting. So you have some HR background, account executive, IT. Well, there's a lot of HR tech and rec tech being sold right now. I mean, there's like 8 zillion different HR tech AI wrappers all coming down the pike at once. So there should be a lot of opportunity for people who know how to speak to the value proposition around that kind of HR technology, and who understand how it can help. Yeah. And you have a nice mix of a background that's actually going to play really well in this next chapter. I think it's important too for people to understand how strengths kind of are being viewed in this next chapter. What are the combination of skills and strengths? Like traditional everything is not going to play in the next chapter. Traditional HR, traditional kind of operations, legal, finance, none of that's going to play. We're going to need tech forward, AI minded, progressive thinking leaders in all these different functions, because we are all going to become orchestrators of workflows and AI and tech. That's what's going to happen, right? So I'll totally look at both of your profiles when we get off the call. Happy to help wherever I can. I do some pro bono coaching, but that's getting a little harder these days just because, I'm doing a lot of working. I also have a couple different startups that I'm working with. I'd love everybody to please go check out roll.com. It's a great board that only has clean, verifiable jobs from career pages. So no ghost jobs, no constant reposting, no third-party agency jobs, just clean, kind of undisturbed jobs from career pages. And also roll.com, we're working on a verified profile so that if you put a lot of effort into your public profile, sort of what LinkedIn was supposed to be, but then they threw a whole lot of social media elements in it that took away from the job search. They also have so much paid B2B marketing going on right now. We want to get back to basics where, people are findable in a career platform, right, with profiles, so that you can see the alignment between you and a role before you ever apply. And applying simply should just look like checking a box, because all your information that we collect in an app is already there. That's the future. That's what I see as the future. But again, we need people to engage with roll.com. I think we all want to fix hiring. All the recruiters I know are tired of screaming in pillows, and like job seekers too. So we all want to fix the broken things in hiring, but also nobody is willing to put in the effort to like go do a new thing with a new platform that is committed to fixing it. So, we can't have it all. If we want to fix it, we have to also be part of fixing it, right? Because it's not just a one-sided issue either. It is definitely two-sided. Yes, companies are getting crazier with their friction in the funnel, and they're making people jump through hoops and all kinds of things. And also, job seekers are not putting their best foot forward. We've got people showing up. Recruiters say, I haven't had this problem. So I'm like, I'm 50-50 on whether it's really happening. But like, I've heard that people are showing up to interviews vaping on video. People are showing up from the toilet. I thought that was disgusting and disrespectful. Like, if I can audibly hear you on the toilet, I'm stopping the interview in real time, because you clearly are either, a bit unhinged, or you don't have strong situational awareness. You don't know that it's not a great idea to show up to an interview from the toilet. Therefore, I can't assume you're going to know how to handle clients or customers or coworkers or any other thing because you have zero respect for yourself or anyone else. So that's how I feel about that. Um, yeah. So again, I want people to really understand that what's broken or what's wrong in hiring isn't like one camp to blame. Like there's a lot of problems, and we can talk about the chicken and the egg and where the problems came from and who caused the problems and all that. Honestly, most of the problems simply came from the market shifting from a candidate market to an employer market almost overnight. And we had built processes and systems for a talent scarce market. And so we made it really easy to apply and low friction and all that. So like, again, what caused the pain on both sides was a rapid change in the competitiveness of the job market. There are people I talk to on a regular basis, 20, 30 years into their career. And of course, hi, 20, 30 years into your career, now you're getting aged out. Let's get real. I'm dealing with it too. But they're dealing with the fact that, I completely lost my train of thought. 20 to 30 years into their career, and they've never had to compete for a job, not once. So, right, every time they were looking, they just let people in their network know they were looking or past bosses or whoever, and they got plucked up and hired elsewhere. So, like when you go from 20 to 30 years of a career and never really having to put in a tremendous amount of like effort to compete in a market, you're not really going to know how. And also it's going to feel like the sky is falling and everything's broken. And like, no, it's not. Supply and demand is real. And that's really what we're dealing with today. So, all right, who else is here and what's going on? Oh, Reggie, you rock. You have to go put in, just sign up for the wait list. If you sign up for use roll.com to search for jobs, and that. But if you're open for the profile, which I think is a darn good idea and a great investment of time, then yes, put yourself on the wait list for the verified profile. We probably have, Reggie. I mean, I do answer people when you reach out to my DMs. If I see your message and I'm available to respond to it and I have a worthy response, and even if I don't, I'm still likely to respond because I'm still very human first, right? I like tech. I like AI. I like a lot of the use cases for it. I think there's some really scary use cases for it that I don't think make sense and aren't good for humanity. But I still lead with human connection and authenticity because I think we have to. And I think if people aren't willing to keep leading with humanness and authentic connection, that we're going to lose it. It allowed you to make a profile. Amazing. Reggie, that's exciting. You may be our very first profile. I'll have to find out what Devin's doing in the background where he's made it opens for people to fill out. That's great. Very good. I mean, like a full profile, like the whole thing, like the picture of if you go down on the home screen and you look at the bottom, you can see the verified profile. And it's a lot of pieces. It's like your work history, a lot of different verifiable pieces and skills and things like that. So, yeah, there are very scary ones. What scary what's? I'm worried. Uh-oh. Let me know in the DM, Reggie, what is scary and like how I can help fix it. So what else? Anyone have any more questions? I've got about 8 more minutes out here today. And then I got to hop on and get, right. So Reggie, there's 2 different things. There's like you sign up so that you can track anything that you search and apply to. And then there's also, it's role.com. It's like what you see up here on the screen. role.com, not roll.com. I have nothing to do with roll.com and have no idea what they're up to. So yeah, don't hold me accountable for that. But yeah, Reggie, you can sign up and then look for jobs and track the ones you apply to. But the second, and yes, you can also sign up for AI help, but there's also a wait list at the bottom of the homepage, and you can see what a verified profile looks like. That's the next iteration of like what we think a resume will be. Scary for AI. Oh, got it. Yes. Yeah, there's some really scary AI use cases. I mean, what is going on, right? Like some things, I don't know. I heard AI teachers are coming to New York or something. Like I can't think of anything worse, to be honest with you. I think that these next generations of kids are going to struggle enough in this world. So without having as much connection, human connection, and real human values, and like those kinds of conversations, and now you're going to put AI as their teachers. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing, to be honest with you. Hey, Rich. It's Bucket Hat, my friend Richard King in the comments. Good to see you. Hey, Melissa. Awesome. You're checking it out too. Listen, roll.com is pretty cool. And I honestly think that next version of like a profile, like again, what LinkedIn intended to do, but then they got distracted by all these other ways to make money. But yeah, like let's get to a point where we don't have to apply to 100 jobs. We can just click 100 different roles where we already see an alignment score, a two-sided alignment score, which doesn't exist anywhere out here yet. And then you aren't like wasting time, right? You engage based on there already being a match. It's almost like the dating site algo, which existed a very long time ago. But it's a very two-sided matching system, and we can do that as well in hiring and get better at kind of reducing the top third of the funnel is what I see. Perfect, Reggie. That's exactly what I want you to do, is join that wait list. Very good. And so Reggie, let me ask you this, and Richard too, if you're still on, what do you think of that verified profile on the roll.com page? Like, would that help you as a recruiter? Would that help you as an HR person be able to see lots of different data points about a candidate before you ever have to have that first conversation? If we get it the way and like, obviously it's going to take multiple iterations to get to that, but like eventually I think we cut the entire top third of the whole talent funnel if we do this right. And again, we level the playing field because the alignment is built on what matters to both sides, what matters to the job seeker, what environment and culture they want to be in, how deeply immersed they want to be in their work or not, right? Both are okay. There are people who want to be fully immersed in their careers, and there are people who want to clock out at 5:00 and not think about work until tomorrow morning at 9:00. Like, and both are perfectly fine. I think we debate a lot out here around, statements and opinions and strategies when really it depends. It depends so much based on what everybody in the conversation needs and wants, right? It's okay for companies to have hustle culture because there are also people who love hustle culture. I was one of them, to be honest. And I had 3 kids by 26. So the idea that you can't engage with hustle culture and also, be a mom and do all these other things is silly. We used to do a lot more, maybe with a lot less back in the day. But we had a comfortable perspective around humility and accountability and entitlement or not. So that's kind of what I think has changed a lot. Interesting how many more people show up when I don't like plan it in advance and like post that this is happening. I just do it and then people show up. Interesting. Yeah, Rich, this is why. So hear me out. If we had a two-sided alignment score based on a profile, like a LinkedIn profile, but like minus the social media crap, minus the B2B marketing and sponsorships and all that, we just had applicant profiles and company profiles. And beyond the resume and beyond the job description, each answered some other basic questions. Imagine having a two-sided alignment score early on so that the person is like, okay, you only can apply for what you are a match with. So it's like we will get rid of anybody not 80% or better matched to the job, again, based on more than the job description and more than a resume, where we can easily solve this. It's just not even that difficult to do with the tech we have. The problem, Rich, is that everybody is building technology that either creates more volume, or they're building technology to accommodate and navigate the volume, or they're building technology to completely circumvent public posting and go direct to like a more precise, like community kind of play, or like specific newsletters in specific industries. So very targeted, or everyone else is playing the race to the bottom of hell. And that's the two things that are happening. I don't want public posting to die, because then we go back to just hiring Bob's friend's kid from the country club, literally, and at scale. So I don't want public posting to go away. I think it's important. What I want is to get better at using technology to figure out what everyone actually needs and what everyone actually is offering, and then cut the top third of the entire recruiting funnel out. That's what I would like to happen. So anywho, how does Roll.com protect against account takeovers via social engineering, like when LinkedIn users get verified, but then run into a fake career coach who tricks them into handing access to their account? Great question. So the future of Roll.com, well, one, the verified profiles are based on both sides, company profiles and jobs and candidates, and so everything is verified. So like there will be no ghost jobs posted by people who are just trying to get to you, right? To frustrated job seekers. Also, we're verifying applicants as well. So people, right? And much like LinkedIn, but it's like, we can verify that you're human. We can verify you're who you say you are, and we can verify you are located where you say you are. Now, those are three key top of funnel things that matter a whole lot. And doing the same on the company side, right? So we start from a position of, again, a slightly more level playing field, and the assumption that everyone is real. So if there's a single platform out here where you can start from the assumption that everybody there is real, that is, I mean, by itself, a huge differentiator right now. And then we take it to the next level where, again, we're obtaining so much information from both sides that a two-sided alignment score and match are like, I mean, this doesn't work until there's kind of a critical mass of companies and a critical mass of candidates all in the platform. But eventually you can just look daily at the things you're matched to, not like LinkedIn, but like actually based on real data points and more information. And you can see the matching and choose whether you're interested in that company or opportunity based on that. So anywho, I have to hop. I do have a call, and but this was awesome. Go check out roll.com if you haven't. Feel free to DM me if you have questions about it. We are looking for early people to be involved in it. So let me know if that's interesting to you. And I need that on both sides, job seekers and recruiters alike, to talk about this. So, and I will be back next week, and I'll probably do it the same way. I'll just hop in at some random time and not tell anybody, and maybe more people show up like today. This was cool. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it and you think this is valuable, I have a buy me a coffee QR code up in the top corner. I'm not asking to make money doing this at all, but I also do pay for like StreamYard, and I pay for tools so that I can show up and do this. And like I'd rather be able to like break even maybe. So I appreciate it. And everyone have a great rest of your week. Happy Woof Wednesday. And I will see you out there in the comment section debating someone. Bye.